The miracle of Islam is not a person. The miracle of Islam is the book, the Qur'an.
The biggest miracle of Islam is the Qur'an. That doesn't take away the fact that he, Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, is also one of the biggest miracles of Islam. While the Qur'an testifies his prophethood, the narrations mentions that he was literally the walking Qur'an.
The miracle of Islam is the book, the Qur'an. But when you begin to study Islam, what you begin to realize is the only way you can truly appreciate the miracle of Islam is by reading it in Arabic. My philosophical problem with that is, why all of a sudden, when God reveals himself very wonderfully in an open way in Jesus, does he suddenly say, the only way to get my clearest revelation is by learning Arabic?
The Quran states in chapter 12, verse 2, that we have revealed this Quran in Arabic so that you can understand it. The proof for this is that although the Quran is in Arabic, it is the most memorized book in the world by non-Arab speaking people. It also states in the Quran that this is a book where there's no confusion or corruption. In order for you to understand something, there has to be no confusion or doubt. So although there's different Bibles and different denominations of Christianity, there is only one Islam and there's only one Qur'an.
God, that's right. But it was written by Muhammad.
It was not written by Muhammad.
Who wrote it?
Muhammad was illiterate. He didn't know how to write or read.
Who wrote it?
So he was taught to recite it, to memorize it. He then taught his companions to recite it and memorize it, who then wrote it down during his prison, studied it, revised it, and it was accepted, obviously during his time while he was alive, for approximately 23 years. Now, you're going to ask, well, how do we know it's from God? God actually challenges mankind in the Quran for these particular questions by saying, if you don't believe that this Quran is from God, then he challenges you, man, to make a verse, not the Quran, one verse, like it, or similar to it, or close to it. A challenge that no man in 1400 years has ever been able to achieve. You have Google, go and do your research and find me another Quran.
Asked me to believe is that a revelation that Muhammad had 500 years after Jesus, which obviously means Muhammad never met Jesus, that book, the Quran, is a more accurate presentation of the historical Jesus than the Gospels written by the eyewitnesses.
The Quran is clearly more accurate than the so-called eyewitnesses of the Gospel. Why? Because, like as I mentioned, number one, it is directly from God. Number two, it is a book that has never been changed or can ever be changed.
I'm sorry. Whenever I want to study an historical person, I don't go running to a guy who lived 500 years after the fact. I want to go to the eyewitnesses. I'm not going to trust Martin Scorsese to be my primary source of information about Jesus. Martin Scorsese never met Jesus.
And this is where I sympathize with a lot of Christians are like when it comes to the love they have for Jesus Christ. Because I genuinely believe they love Jesus Christ out of blindness. Because he just states that he cannot trust anyone or information about Jesus Christ from anyone who never met Jesus Christ. Yet there is a whole gospel of Paul, right? The whole gospel of Paul in the Bible. Paul was a man who never met Jesus Christ, never ate with Jesus Christ, never sat with Jesus Christ. In fact, Paul was a hater of Jesus Christ. He was a bounty hunter. He used to kill and hunt the followers of Jesus Christ. Yet, this guy believed the doctrine of Paul.